You're parked on the road at night. When must you use parking lights? When the speed limit exceeds 30 miles per hour. Which driving technique can help you save fuel? Missing out some gears. What will happen if your car's wheels are unbalanced? The steering will vibrate. What will reduce fuel consumption? Driving more slowly. What's most likely to increase fuel consumption? Harsh braking and accelerating. What may help to deter a thief from stealing your car? Etching the registration number on the windows. You need to top up your battery with distilled water. What level should you fill it to? Just above the cell plates. What's the legal minimum tread depth for tires on your trailer or caravan? 1.6 millimeters. The fluid level in your battery is low. What fluid should you use to top it up? Distilled water. When should tire pressures be checked? When tires are cold. What's likely to happen if you put too much oil in your engine? The oil seals will leak. What does it mean if your vehicle keeps bouncing after you sharply press down and release on the bodywork over a wheel? The shock absorbers are worn. What part of the car does the law require you to keep in good condition? The seat belts. What's the most important reason for having a properly adjusted head restraint? To help you avoid neck injury. How would underinflated tires affect your vehicle? The vehicle's stopping distance would increase. What does fuel-efficient driving achieve? Improved road safety. You're carrying an 11-year-old child on the front seat of your car. They're under 1.35 meters, 4 feet 5 inches, tall. What seat belt security must be in place? They must use a suitable child restraint. When should you check the engine oil level? Before a long journey. What does it mean if this light comes on while you're driving? A fault in the braking system. How can you reduce the environmental harm caused by your motor vehicle? Keep engine revs low. How will you benefit from following the manufacturer's service schedule for your vehicle? Your vehicle will remain reliable. How can you help to prevent your car radio being stolen? Install a security-coded radio. How can you reduce the damage your vehicle causes to the environment? Anticipate well ahead. How can you avoid wasting fuel? By having your vehicle serviced regularly. What can be damaged if you turn the steering wheel when the car isn't moving? The tires. How can drivers help the environment? By accelerating gently. What can you do to reduce environmental damage caused by your vehicle? Avoid making a lot of short journeys. How can you reduce the risk of your vehicle being broken into at night? Leave it in a well-lit area. When will your vehicle use more fuel? When its tires are underinflated. What can cause excessive or uneven tire wear? A faulty braking system. How much more fuel will you use by driving at 70 miles per hour, compared with driving at 50 miles per hour? About 15%. How will your journey be affected by traveling outside the busy times of day? Your journey will have fewer delays. When is fuel consumption at its highest? When you're accelerating. What should you do if your anti-lock brakes, ABS, warning light stays on? Have the brakes checked immediately. How will a roof rack affect your car? Fuel consumption will increase. What's most likely to waste fuel? Underinflated tires. On a vehicle, where would you find a catalytic converter? On the exhaust system. What's the legal minimum depth of tread for car tires? 1.6 millimeters. What's the purpose of a catalytic converter? To reduce harmful exhaust gases. You have to make an unexpected journey. You're carrying a 5-year-old child on the back seat of your car. They're under 1.35 meters, 4 feet 5 inches, tall. How should you seat them if a correct child restraint isn't available? Using an adult seat belt. What can people who live or work in towns and cities do to help reduce urban pollution levels? Walk or cycle. What could you do to reduce the volume of traffic on the roads? Walk or cycle on short journeys. What could cause you to crash if the level is allowed to get too low? Brake fluid level. What should you remove from your car before leaving it unattended? The vehicle registration document. If you're involved in a collision, what will reduce the risk of neck injury? A properly adjusted head restraint. When may a passenger travel in a car without wearing a seat belt? When they're exempt for medical reasons. You want to put a rear-facing baby seat on the front passenger seat. What must you do if the passenger seat is protected by a frontal airbag? Deactivate the airbag. What can you achieve if you drive smoothly? Reduction in fuel consumption by about 15%. What makes your tires illegal? If they have any large, deep cuts in the sidewall. Why do MO tests include an exhaust emission test? To help protect the environment against pollution.